you for calling Costilla County. If you know your party's extension, you may enter it at any time. Planning and zoning.
Hello, yeah, I'm looking at your planning and zoning resources page online, and it says, I'm looking at a piece of land that's over by the Rio Grande, pretty close, and I noticed this, it says Costilla County requires land use permits. Is that like for renting land, or is that for land that you buy?
Well, if you're renting it or buying it, either way, if you want to build on it or develop anything on it, you will have to get permits from our office.
Okay, so you have codes and restrictions in your county then?
Yes.
Okay. So if I wanted to build like an adobe or a straw bale or like a cob style house, something like you would see in New Mexico, I'm debating between adobe and like a straw bale home. Are there any kinds of restrictions? I mean, do you have to, are you guys under, how strict is it, and or how laid back?
Well, first of all, the first permits that you'll need for the property would be a road access and a minor development. You can't live in anything smaller than 600 square feet.
Okay. And as far...
Before they even give you a construction permit, you have to put a septic system in there.
Okay, and if I wanted to, say I wanted to do something like a earthship style and use composting toilets and all of that, would that be...
You're not allowed to use composting toilets.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, and even the advanced systems, I know there's some advanced systems for like 3 toilets, and you put them in ground, kind of like a septic, but it's smaller.
You could use a composting toilet, don't get me wrong, but you must have a leach field with it as well connected to it.
Yeah, composting toilets don't leach. They typically turn. The advanced systems, the way they work, you have like a 150 or 200 gallon tank that goes downstairs, so to speak, and you put like 2 or 3 toilets in the upper areas of the home, but it doesn't actually leach. Everything is composted, so it's.
Yeah, through this new state regulations, it must have a leach field in the system. So.
And you guys enforce that with that rural of land?
That's where.
With it as rural as it is out there, you guys enforce that?
Yes, we do.
Wow.
That's one of the main things we enforce.
Wow. I mean, the problem is, I mean, I look at the land and I think, hey, it's cheap, but it's not worth moving out there. I mean, the people that are selling land aren't going to be selling land with that stricter regulations on rural land. I've been looking at land all over the country.
That's what the problem is. They sell cheap land here, but then they don't realize that we do have rules and regulations that they don't comply with, and then that's where they get caught up in, paying more for everything else than they do for the property.
Yeah, the problem is, I mean, like, I'm looking at land in like 6 different states going, okay, where's the best place to choose? And you go to Oklahoma, you got counties with 50,000 people that have no codes and no restrictions outside of a city. If you're in a city, that's one thing, but if you're in county, usually there's no codes, no restrictions on a rural county. So,
actually, we're probably one of the lenient ones that have less codes for the county in this area.
Yeah,
We don't have a building code. We just use a land use code.
Okay, so there are no building codes for construction, just land use.
Yeah, just land use.
Okay, so your requirements are septic, access road. What else?
Minor development. You must have a water source up there, and you can't live in anything smaller than 600 square feet.
And you can't live in less than 600 square feet. Okay, gotcha. And do you have to, as far as water, do you know about how deep? I mean, with the Rio Grande out there, I'm assuming water table's pretty high, or do you know?
It just depends. I'm not sure exactly how deep you have to go for a while. It just depends.
Okay.
But you would have to get with the Water Resource Division through the state and then ask them if you can put a well out there, and they'll determine that. Okay,
so they allow X amount of wells per area. Is that kind of how that works? Or it's a 5-acre...
It's just up to the state, because that's the Water Resource Division's call right there.
Okay. I'm looking at 5 acres. I know that's not huge, but it's, I don't know how that all works with that. But now, is there a limitation, like 5 acres is big enough to build a house, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
yes.
and are mobile homes allowed?
Yes, but they have to be, they can't be older than a year of 86, I believe.
Okay. And what's the rules on, or do I need a permit or anything to put a motorhome out while I build?
You would have to have the septic in first.
Okay.
And then you would be able to apply for a long-term camping permit.
Okay. And as far as water sources, what's the rain like out there? Does it rain much?
It just depends. Sometimes you'll get a lot of rain. Sometimes it could be dry. It just depends.
Okay. Depending on how wet or dry, do you allow for rainwater catchment systems? I don't know if there's enough rain for that out there, but
Hold on. You could get, I guess, the rainwater off like what comes off the roof, and that's like about it. But that's a state issue as well.
okay. So as far as water, I mean, as far as land use, if I wanted to park an RV and build, if I put in a septic system and then plan to use rainwater catchment for a water system, we'd put in,
And then that'll be up to the state, and then if they allow you to do that, if not, you would have to use like a cistern or do a well.
Okay. And do you know, are there local water delivery companies if we used like a water cistern or tank?
I don't believe there's any that deliver out there.
Okay. All right. Well, I thank you very much. I think you've answered my questions. It's not too bad. So as far as building codes, you can pretty much build how you want to once you get started, besides the septic and all that. Correct?
But it must be, it has to meet the wind and the snow load, and I think the wind is like 120 and the snow load is like 90.
Okay. Okay, and it definitely will. If I could bring motorhome in during construction, I expect probably 6 months to 8 months of construction, so I'm trying to gather, what to expect for something like that. And how much snow do you get about every year? What's that like?
Yeah, like I say, it varies from year to year. Sometimes it could be a hard winter, sometimes it won't be so bad. Like now we haven't really had any snow, so.
What's the most you've ever seen?
We've seen some nasty little blizzards that come through here. Just like I say, it just depends.
Okay. I think that's it. All right, well, I thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye-bye.